Now, streaming live, this is KSLA News Now.
Well, thanks for joining us. You're watching KSLA News Now. I'm Jeff Horchak. Louisiana experienced the second largest earthquake in history early this morning. It all happened around 5:30 in Edgefield, Louisiana, near US 71. Now, the United States Geological Survey confirmed the magnitude of the earthquake was a 4.9. Originally, it was reported as a 4.4. Louisiana's strongest earthquake was a magnitude of 5.3 that struck near Grand Isle back in 2006. Now people throughout the Arklatex are saying they may need to prepare their home insurance in case some more earthquakes come.
I mean, you know, we have to have hurricane, we have to have flood, we have to have tornado, we have to have fire. Well, so now I guess we have to have earthquake insurance too. I mean, everybody wants to know why we pay so much. Well, look at everything we have to have added on to it. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Well, KSLA's weather team has confirmed there is a 26% chance of seeing an aftershock earthquake as a 3 or 4 magnitude within the next 24 hours. Well, the city of Shreveport is celebrating the grand opening of the Shreveport Police North Substation, along with a dedicated domestic violence center. This is the first SPD location to have a center dedicated to domestic violence resources. Now, Chief Wayne Smith says that domestic violence is actually a growing issue here in Caddo Parish. In Shreveport alone, domestic violence calls went up 10% in 2025. Since the start of 2026, police received over 500 domestic violence calls. And the Domestic Violence Center is meant to be a faster, more accessible place for resources and help. Now, the goal is to reduce, of course, Shreveport's domestic violence rates as a whole.
Domestic violence portion of this building is a game changer. It will allow both public and private people to come in and really help victims of domestic violence. Domestic violence is not one incident. It's a long series of incidents, and people need to be raised up and brought together.
All right, 1, 2, 3. Well, the North Shreveport substation is SPD's second permanent substation following the Moncal station that opened in August of 2025. SPD says to stay tuned because by the end of this year, the East substation will open in Cedar Grove Park. Well, at LSU Health Shreveport, dozens are stepping up to the barber's chair to help cancer patients. The annual Go Bald fundraiser is underway, and it took place today at the Center for Medical Education gym. It ran from 11 to 2 in the afternoon. Students, faculty, and even staff agreed to shave their heads or even cut off just a couple inches of hair on stage, all to support patients at the Feist-Weiler Cancer Center. Now, the event started back in 2011 when students rallied around a faculty member who was battling cancer, and it's only grown since then.
This year we had over 40 shavees, which means that the community, students, and faculty all volunteered to shave their heads in honor of cancer patients or cut their hair, and each of them raised between $50 and $5,000 on their shave pages.
Well, this year's Go Bald funds will go toward restoring the McDade House. It's a place for out-of-town cancer patients to stay when they come to Shreveport for treatment at Feist-Weiler.
And we've got the threat for some stronger storms as we head into the weekend. I'll have the details in your first alert forecast.
Now, KSLA First Alert Weather.
And we're tracking our next weather maker that'll be rolling in as we head into Friday afternoon and through the weekend as well. Heavy rain is expected, and we could also see some strong storms in there as well. So want to make sure you're staying weather aware of this weekend, as again, we've got the threat for stronger storms and also the potential for flash flooding as well. Here are the days I'm watching closest. So we'll start with Friday. It is going to be a very low wind severe threat unless you're along and north of I-30. That's where it's a little more elevated. Saturday, though, that threat kind of flip-flops. You'll notice areas south of I-30 are under a slight risk for severe weather. That is a level 2 out of 5 on the severity scale. Last but not least, Tuesday, there's a slight risk of severe weather for parts of the Arklatex. Let's focus in on Friday, though, because for those in that elevated threat near and north of I-30, we could see some significant severe weather potentially. Even if it is significant, it stays very isolated in nature. We do have an elevated potential for a brief isolated tornado up there, and also out toward McCurtain County, we could see a strong tornado. Hail of quarter size, maybe even larger, is possible north of I-30, and also that's where we've got the best chance to see damaging winds. Here's a look at future track. You'll notice by the afternoon, some of these storms are already trying to fire up near and just west of the Arklatex. As we go into the afternoon, we might actually hit a bit of a lull in the storm activity. Now, future track here also painting some sunny skies that would allow temperatures to get a little bit warmer and potentially fuel later storms. Those start to roll in just after dinner time through about 10 p.m. or so. And then there's a look at future track as we go through the rest of the night. A couple isolated storms possible later on. And then look at this, that main line of storms starting to enter the Arklatex on Saturday morning. And that's where we go from that hail and tornado threat for north of I-30 on Friday to more of a wind threat with the chance for a brief isolated tornado or two as we head through much of the day on Saturday. In fact, you'll see that line there is kind of slow to move through the area. We've got some heavy rain with it as well. Of course, we need that rain, but of course, as a result, it could result in some flash flooding. Rain chances, of course, remaining elevated through the middle of next week. When we add all of those totals up, we're talking anywhere from 4 to 7 inches of rain widespread across the Arklatex. So a good amount of rain. So of course tonight, not seeing any rain, but tomorrow there is a slight risk for flooding along and north of I-30. That is your level 2 out of 4 on the flood risk scale. And then as we head into the day on Saturday, that slight risk expands to include much of the Arklatex. The latest drought monitor today shows some deterioration across parts of the Arklatex. That red there indicating extreme level drought, which is a level 3 out of 4 on the drought monitor scale. All right, here's a look at your first alert 7-day forecast. I do also want to mention and emphasize for those along and north of I-30, Friday afternoon, Friday evening is a first alert weather day. That will continue through the day on Saturday. Rain chances expected to continue Sunday, but strong storms not expected at this time.
All right, a pretty eventful day weather-wise, wasn't it?
It has been, between the 3 earthquakes and then also the potential for strong storms. It's been a busy day.
All right. Thank you, Jake. And thank you for joining us. You can catch us on our next newscast tonight at 10. Until then, you can stay connected with us right here on our KSLA News 12 app. Thanks for watching. We'll see you at 10.